Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 530. My name is Adam Patterson. With me today, we've got Kevin Rickshaw. Hey, Kevin.
Hello.
Yeah, this week on the show, we're going to be talking about the Until Dawn, which is out now on VOD platforms. We're also going to be going over some we're watching on the watch list and this week's new releases in theaters, VOD Blu-ray. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get straight on in to Until Dawn. I don't have it pulled up. Let me pull it up. I thought I had it pulled up, but apparently not. My tabs are just disappearing on their own.
Left and right, just losing tabs.
I have a synopsis here. A group of friends trapped in a time loop where mysterious foes chase and kill them in gruesome ways must survive until dawn to escape it. This is directed by David F. Sandberg, and it is based on the very popular PlayStation game of the same name. Now you haven't played the game, right?
No,
If I remember correctly. I remember when it came out. I remember talking about it ages ago, and yeah, the game is great, and I think that maybe there was some higher expectation for this movie because of the game and like sort of the quality of the game. So I think that maybe the people's expectations were a bit too high for this movie because it got shit on a lot by a lot of people. And I gotta say, I did not mind this movie at all. I actually had quite a bit of fun with Until Dawn.
I'm right there with you.
I wasn't expecting a good movie. I wasn't expecting, I wasn't expecting anything great. I was just looking for like a dumb, just a dumb teen horror movie. And that's exactly what I got. And in fact, I saw another dumb teen horror movie this week that I'll talk about later, which was absolute trash garbage in comparison to Until Dawn. Until Dawn actually does a number of things that I think are pretty good.
And you know why my expectations weren't that high? Because it's based on a video game.
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect? Like, are people's do people think like that the video game curse has been broken because of Last of Us or something? Because no way. No way.
Because hot take, Last of Us is kind of not good either. But
well,
we can talk about that some other time.
We could talk about that for we can debate that because I think it's still good, but whatever.
Until Dawn. All right. Going into this again, I haven't played the game, so I really have no expectations whatsoever. I'm almost essentially expecting the worst because it's based on a video game. And I know what the game is, and I'm just like, okay, well, how do you turn that into a movie? Because especially nowadays with video games, I haven't played the game, but I bet you any money that it's like 40% movie, because most video games are now. You don't even play them anymore. Movies all the time.
Until Dawn is very narrative focused. The game, that is. The game is probably more narrative focused than the movie. Actually, now that I think about it, there's definitely a deeper story there. Yeah, I mean,
I would say one of the main things that I appreciate about this movie that I, for all intents and purposes, kind of miss from horror movies from years ago is that this movie doesn't really seem that interested in explaining what's going on or why any of this stuff is happening. Like, there's some like throwaway lines here and there, but it doesn't really take the time or effort to explain anything, and I really appreciate that. Let's just take it for what it is, which is you gotta survive until dawn, and they just do that.
Yeah, they're sometimes with horror movies, especially ones that have like sort of a supernatural angle. Sometimes you get caught up in the rules of the movie, and sometimes, depending on the tone of the movie itself, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. Like, sometimes it's frustrating when horror movies don't follow their own rules and just like go all over the place, just in service to the plot or a set piece or whatever. This movie, it doesn't follow its own rules. None of it, a lot of the things that happen don't necessarily make sense, but I didn't care because this is a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously at all to begin with. Like this is this is supposed to be like just a fun, gory horror movie. And I think that because of that, the fact that there's so many leaps in logic and so many things that happen where you're just like, well, okay, well that doesn't really follow what they were saying before. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It doesn't bother me.
Well, I would say two things to that. A is I agree with you, like movies that like try to like state the rules or like how this universe works or whatever. Like a lot of times that takes me out of it because it feels like you're trying to justify why these things are happening. Don't justify anything. You made a movie.
Just embrace the craziness.
Just drop me in your universe and just go. Right. And once you start stating rules, and if you don't follow the rules, that also takes me out because I'm like, why do you do the rules in the first place if you're not going to follow them? We're like, what are we doing here? And that's what I appreciate about horror films like this is just create a stupid, crazy world and just exist in it. Like, you don't have to justify anything. Like, if you tell me that they get to an abandoned visitor center, they got some crazy, like, hourglass mechanism on the wall, and it rotates and it starts going down, and they're like, hey, you're gonna fucking get killed, and you just have to survive until dawn. I'm in. I don't need justification. Like, I already pressed play. I read the synopsis, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah, there's definitely some throwback vibes for me in this one. I feel like we don't get too many goofy horror movies like this anymore. They're either like they either go too far into the comedy route where it's like they're trying too hard to be funny, or you're like your typical really gritty slasher or something like that. You never really have these just kind of fun teen horror movies anymore, and not ones that actually do things that are kind of, I don't want to say new, but just fresh. Like this is a movie that it blends a lot of horror tropes. I mean, it's all about fear. Like the whole thing is about what these kids, or maybe one of them specifically, is like scared of. Interestingly, the main character from this movie is also in that Fear Street movie that I'm going to talk about later.
Yeah, I have fun with this. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's gory as hell. I was not expecting this much gore. And not only is it gory as hell, but like it's done really well. Like it looks really good.
Mostly done in practical from what I could tell. Like a lot of practical effects, a lot of like dummies being used and stuff like that. Like, not a lot of the CG blood stuff. Like I think that they did a really good job with the effects work on this.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a lot of spontaneous combustions in this movie, which is not something that I expected, but definitely something that I welcome.
Oh, 100%. And honestly, that's worth the price of admission right there. Like, there's not enough explosions in movies. And by that, I mean, the human combustion. Yeah, movies were made that you could do things that can't be done in real life. One of them is explode people. Movies should explode people more often. And I love that this movie does it multiple times. It's not just a one and done deal.
Yeah. They come back. They come back to it.
And I also love that, like, it makes no sense whatsoever. Like, the first time, you're like, okay, if you consume that, got it. And then there's another time where just, like, certain body parts explode.
Yeah.
Which that doesn't make sense.
Which is nuts. Which is pretty gnarly. Also, like, just the fact that the whole premise here is that they have to survive until dawn, right? But there's one time where they're just like sitting there, and one of the people just gets possessed, and the spirit that's possessing her just snaps her neck, and she's dead. Like they're like if these like entities or whatever wanted them dead and to not make it until dawn, they could just easily do that. It's so little of what happens in here makes sense, and like the fact that like the outside changes, like additional houses appear, and
Mhm.
Like they retain some injuries from the previous time that they were killed, but it also like changes them, which I kind of liked. I liked that premise where like it's doing something to their bodies in addition to like it their bodies are weaker and whatever, but it's also like changing them physically into something else.
Mhm.
But then
I
also
also
also randomly they lose like 5 days or something where it's just like there's no explanation of how that happened, where they're just like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
we've been here for like 12 days and they're just like, what? No
And I also love
explanation.
that was, for what I could tell, is just an excuse to do like a highlight reel. Because the guy's like, "Oh, we
Exactly.
haven't written anything down. We haven't done anything." And he's like, "Wait, I've been taking videos," and it's just all these videos
Yeah.
of nights that we haven't seen, and you're just
It's a,
like, "Hell yeah!" Like a little ESPN highlight reel. Why
yeah,
not?
it's a compilation. It's like a found footage compilation of all of the ways that they died in a ridiculous manner. It
I
seemed like
also,
it almost seemed like the one. It looked like they got hit by like a radioactive bomb or something.
yeah, I definitely appreciated that little bit of just like, hey, real quick sidebar. Here's a bunch of other ways that they have died, real quick. We're not going to get into the logistics of it or waste too much time. We're just going to show you the highlights, which
And
again, I appreciate it.
one one criticism I have with that is that too many of the deaths that we see are just the slasher guy, like the generic
Yeah.
masked slasher guy. And I wish that they were like the zombie. Like I wish that they mixed it up a bit more and give us the slasher guy once, the zombie once, the ghost, and then like give us the real crazy shit. Like the bug thing that was in the compilation. You see that in the trailer too.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
more stuff like that where it's a little bit more creative. That's not to say that we don't see lots of creative deaths in this, but I feel like they come back to the slasher guy a bit too much.
Yeah. They do dip their the pen in the well a bit too much with that. But I also appreciate, I like the kind of early on idea where it's like all of us or none of us. So like if someone dies, they're just like, well, I guess we'll kill
Yeah.
ourselves and just try
Yeah.
again.
That I liked that angle too, where they're like, oh no, so and so they're dead already. All right, well, let's just try it again. You kill me. Do you want to kill me this time? Like it's just
And it
I did like that.
and it of course the added, if someone gets a bit too annoying, you can just kill
You
them
just kill him.
with
Yeah.
no consequences. I mean, I'm sure it messes up the relationship a little bit, but
Well, yeah.
I think it's understandable. You're in a stressful situation. You get
I
annoyed with people pretty quickly.
That reminds me of another thing is that I actually liked the characters. I didn't think that the characters were, your stereotypical like 80s style slasher teens where they're just like so horrible and annoying. You just can't wait to see them get killed. I actually thought that these characters acted like real people, like they were friends who actually cared about each other and wanted to save each other and were happy to sacrifice themselves for each other. And I liked that. I think that anytime that characters are portrayed like that in a horror movie, I think is refreshing. I think that this is the premise of this movie is allows for these characters to be more likable, whereas with a lot of other slasher movies, they don't want you to really like the characters because then it hits too hard when they get killed.
Yeah. No, I mean, all in all, I I had a good time with this movie.
Same here. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really just don't see the hate with this one. Like
No,
there,
there's
I
much more movies to hate than this.
yeah,
This
like
one explodes multiple people. What do you want? I'm sorry.
exactly. Also, the
I mean,
set
my God.
design, like this, the set design is quite good. Like I liked the house, the details in the house, and stuff like that. It looked like they were trying to shoehorn in the game where you get these little Easter eggs of like pictures of some of the people from the game, and the Peter Stormare is the only person in this who is from the game. He plays the same character in this as he does in the game, and the little cliff. I don't know if it was a cliffhanger, a little like twist or whatever at the end was that they showed the place, the ski lodge where the game takes place, which I think the ski lodge is a better location than this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they'll do a sequel and have the characters come back. Rami Malek was in the original one, and Hayden Panettiere and some other people. Actually, bigger names were in the game than in this.
I was going to say, wait, this is the game?
Yeah, yeah, bigger names.
What?
And the game was written by Larry Fessenden.
Really?
Yeah, and he was in it too. He wrote it and he was in it. Of course he was. He's in everything that he's involved in. But yeah,
but he wasn't involved with this in any way, shape, or form.
Not in any way,
What?
which is crazy.
Okay, so that's the one criticism that I have now that I know that. How are you not involved, Larry?
I feel like if Larry was to direct this, like if they got Larry to direct this, it would have been a very different movie. And I don't know if I don't know if it would have been better or worse or just different. But yeah, imagine Larry Fessenden doing this. There would have been a bigger focus on the whole Wendigo thing, because that's like his, that's kind of his jam.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, kind of weird that he wasn't involved in the movie at all. The director, though, this is the guy who did Lights Out, which I liked a lot. Also did Annabelle Creation and the Shazam movies, which
Shazam. Fucking Shazam movies. I
liked the first Shazam. I think if I watched it now, I would probably hate it just because of Zachary Levi and him being who he is. But I remember I thought that the first one was like fun and entertaining, and I really liked Lights Out. And Annabelle Creation, I remember nothing about. So
classic.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and give this a score. Kevin, what are you going to give Until Dawn?
I'd give it like a 5.5, 6.
There you go. I'm sitting at a 6 on this one as well. I think it's worth a look. Just don't go into it expecting greatness.
Remember that it's a video game.
Yeah. And I think you'll come out of it, even if you... I also think that if you're a big fan of the game, you may be disappointed with the movie. I think I think a lot of people who liked the game did not like the movie because it does deviate, and it does deviate from the game quite a bit, and it also cheapens the game. Like the story in the game is so much better than this. And I think that maybe that has to do, I think that colors a lot of people's opinions, because like a lot of people remember the game and how great the game was, and how this is like a very cheap facsimile of that.
But you have so much more time in a game.
Exactly.
To focus on the story.
And also, the Larry angle, I think, helped elevate the game, certainly. Larry at home. All right, that's Until Dawn. Again, that's on VOD platforms. Let's talk about some of what we've been watching. I think it is my turn this week, and I'll kick things off with another horror movie that I liked a whole lot, and that's Final Destination Bloodlines. I got to go to the theater to see this, and I was very excited to see this in the theater. I went with my dad. I don't know if my dad's a big Final Destination fan, but he's seen a couple of them and he appreciates them.
Yes.
In fact, I believe the last Final Destination movie that came out, I went with him to see that in the theater as well. And they stress him out. The Final Destination movies really stress my dad out.
Which I love for anyone listening to this, that if you don't know Adam's dad, is that Adam's dad is stressed out by everything, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen him not stressed out.
Yeah, yeah. And these movies, for whatever reason, he's like, they're so disturbing. And I'm like, I don't understand that. They're like the goofiest horror movies. But it's been quite a while since we've had a Final Destination, and now we're back with, I guess this is the 6th one in the series. And and I thought it was great. I had a great time with it. the the whole kind of hook with this one is that it's an entire family that is
Oh
being
man.
targeted by death. And so they do something very interesting with that, where it's like an entire bloodline. So like the premise here is that the person who survived had the premonition and survived the accident, that person was pregnant. So because of that, her entire like family tree should have been shouldn't have
Oh
existed.
man.
So when death comes, they go for the whole family. So it's like I think it's a cool premise. It's a big, if you're familiar with the Final Destination movies, there's like a big set piece that like kind of kicks everything off.
Hmm.
This one is really cool. It's almost like a Space Needle type thing. Like it's not the Space Needle, but it's like pretty much that. And man, there are so many moving parts to that, like so many things going on in that one. Plus, it takes place in the early 60s, which is awesome, I think.
Oh man. Okay.
Not the whole movie, just the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the big thing.
Yeah, I love
Um,
the idea of that.
yeah, really cool. The I could have probably used a couple more of the set pieces, although the ones that we do get here are really good. I would say that this is probably like my second favorite of the series. I had a great time with it. Maybe it's just because I haven't, had one of these movies in a long time and I was just really itching for it. And I saw it in the theater and it was like Dolby and stuff, and I had a really good time. But
Oh yeah.
I would definitely recommend it. Also, I believe this is Tony Todd's last film. He looked very ill in this movie, but he's
Yes,
in it.
even just the banner image on Letterbox.
Yeah, yeah. But he's great in it too. He's only in one scene, but he still, commands his presence there. So rest in peace, Tony Todd. But yeah, that's Final Destination Bloodlines. Check it out.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Final Destination 5 then.
Oh, nice.
Bloodlines. Watching Final Destination 5, essentially to get myself caught up for when Bloodlines finally comes my way. Final Destination 5, it was surprising. It was, to me, like the perfect mix of just over the top ridiculousness and what the Final Destination franchise has come to be. And I just love the hell out of this movie. It might be one of my favorites out of the franchise. And just watching this in terms of like the movie itself, which was just fucking batshit insane. Which
This is the bridge one, right?
This is the bridge one. The
Yeah.
bridge thing is ridiculous. The whole lead up to the bridge, well, everything evolving this workplace, which happens to be like the most toxic workplace I've ever seen committed to film. Just an absolute fucking nightmare to work. And the fact that it's all the employees are being taken out, and just the just so goofy the way a lot of these people are killed. It's just really leaning into the fun aspect of the Final Destination franchise. And then having the like opening credits kind of have like a lot of the elements from the Rube Goldberg devices of all the other movies, kind of gets you amped up. Like, hell yeah, fucking remember that kill. Oh, that one was ridiculous. That type of thing. Then this movie, and then the end, like having again, like the replay of the deaths and stuff from the franchise. Just coming to realize that this franchise might be like in my mind, one of the best comedic franchises that exist. It always delivers. It's like a perfect Friday night movie. It's always a shit ton of fun. Like they're just incredible. And it's the same formula. And I never want that formula to change.
It doesn't have to,
And I don't want it to. If they change it, I will be pissed off.
Yeah, exactly. They occasionally add some new like dynamics to it. Like the new one, like I mentioned, the whole family thing. But it's not like they like change how the movie works or anything like that. Like it's still Final Destination. They're not making it more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah. And I also appreciate with this one is like how it ends, how it comes back to the first one, which I was not expecting whatsoever. So that was kind
Yeah.
of like a fun surprise.
Yeah.
It's so great.
I love this whole series. I think that they're all fantastic. Cool. That's Final Destination 5. Check that out. Let's see. I'll start with the other one that I mentioned before, and that's Fear Street Prom Queen. Now, both of us were fans of the Fear Street trilogy that came out in 2021. Really interesting premise with that. Like, it was like three different time periods. It was like the 1600s, and then the 70s, and then the 90s, and it linked them all together. It was just a really cool horror trilogy. Fear Street Prom Queen is none of those things. It is loosely connected to the other trilogy in that I think that it takes place in the same town, and maybe, like, I don't know if any characters are the same or not. It's been too long since I saw the original one. But this is takes place in the 80s, 1988, I believe, and it's the most bog standard slasher movie. Like, they're not doing anything new here. Nothing. Like,
Mhm.
there's nothing new. It's it's a comedy. It's played up way more so on the comedic side of things than the other Fear Street movies. And yeah, it's just not good. Actually, it's a very bad time. It's like the most generic slasher that it doesn't do a great job of capturing that 80s vibe. It looks too glossy, it looks too modern. And I mean like, you need more than like hairstyles and a soundtrack to pay homage to that decade.
Yeah.
And this just doesn't really work. There are some, it's very gory. There's lots of dismemberments and stuff in it, but again, it's like played for laughs. So it just didn't work for me. So I don't recommend it, but it's on Netflix if you want to check it out. It's directed by Matt Palmer. I don't know if I mentioned that, but he did one other movie on Netflix, which I didn't see, but it's called Calibre.
Yeah. Mm. Gotta hit you with a Tubi movie. And that's The Final Terror from 1983 by Andrew Davis.
Okay.
This is
All
a
right.
this is a survive like the backwoods type thing. This group of kind of like park rangers or something. Mark Metcalf is the head of these park rangers, like these teen or at least like young 20s park rangers. They're going on this trip to kind of like clear the river and everything and do some work. And of course, he's going with his girlfriend, and some other ladies are going to be joining him, you know. And Joe Pantoliano plays a guy named Edgar, who is it's super intense. Like, almost doesn't fit this movie. He's just way too intense. It's very intriguing to watch, actually. But he's trying to tell these guys, like, you shouldn't go to this area specifically. You should kind of stay away from there. It's dangerous. People have gone missing. Just, it's not a good idea. He's like, no, this is what we're doing, you know? So they go. There's this kind of like backwoods mama, is what the synopsis says, whatever the fuck that is. I love how it just throws that up. What a backwoods mama. Like, we all know what that is.
Yeah.
But there's just this person that like blends in perfectly with this that kind of takes place in the Pacific Northwest, and just like, it kind of looks like a forest creature covered in lichen and moss, and just sneaking up people, taking them out, killing them one by one. It's a very slow burn. Like, there's not a lot of kills, and a lot of it kind of happens off screen. But the atmosphere in this movie is pretty great. The performances are pretty good. John Friedrich looks like a really young Sam Rockwell, and he is also super intense. Like, the two of them are like way more intense than everyone else in this movie. So there's this weird dichotomy that's happening. And then they end up like kind of trapping this entity because they don't know what it is. But, and like the final kill, the way they set it up, like the cinematography of it, the location, just everything about it is just phenomenal. Especially the ending, just so good, and the camera just lingers on the final kill for like an uncomfortable amount of time.
Evidently, I saw this movie 2 years ago, and I do not remember it at all. Like, I'm struggling to remember. Like, I have it logged and everything. I rated it, but I do not remember it. That's
Which
crazy.
was funny to watch this and then watch the latest episode of The Last of Us, and Joe Pantoliano shows up in there too. I was just like, oh fuck, it's Edgar.
That was kind of interesting where he just pops up for that one scene.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's Edgar from Final Terror. Get the hell out of here.
I like that he's known that's forever what he'll be known as, Edgar from Final Terror.
And it's the best part of it is it's spelled Eggar. It's not Edgar.
No, Edgar.
Edgar.
Nice. That's the Final Terror. It's on Tubi. It's on Shudder. It's on a bunch of other platforms as well. I saw Warfare. This is by Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza. If you're not familiar, this is a retelling of it's a platoon of Navy SEALs. They're doing surveillance, and they get attacked, and that's pretty much the movie. It's really designed to be a very, very realistic depiction of this specific story that these guys are telling. And everything, it's like the way that the movie was made is that they did extensive interviews with these guys, and they took their story and they like translated it as close to one as they could. So everything that you see is exactly how they remembered it. And as such, there's no like, crazy Hollywood stuff going on in this movie. It's very grounded. It's very realistic. And I liked it quite a bit. I like Alex Garland's stuff for the most part. I wasn't a huge fan of Civil War, which I guess is sort of, that was the one that he dropped before this. And I think that this is much more effective than Civil War. Good performances across the board here. There's some really kind of shocking moments. It does feel very realistic and gritty. It's not, one of the things that I am sometimes concerned about with war movies like this, especially like contemporary war movies, is like how close are they going to get to like the whole propaganda aspect? Like, is this going to be sort of a propaganda film? Like, what was that? There was like that one movie that was like actually it starred soldiers. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but like that was like pretty much, you could probably call that propaganda. This is just a retelling of a very specific situation that occurred. And it doesn't, I would say that it is as close to apolitical as you can get in a war movie, which I think is good because I typically like war movies, but I don't like, I don't like getting preached at.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it. It is, if you're into war movies, like it is a very, very realistic war movie. The co-director Ray Mendoza he's like a technical advisor where he works with filmmakers on making sure that everything is like 100% accurate. And he was actually like credited as a director on this because he was so involved. So
Okay.
I would say check it out. It's good stuff.
Oh, I would say check out, and you can because it's on Hulu. It's also on Criterion Channel, and that's Catherine Bigelow's Strange Days from 1995.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ralph Fiennes looks like fucking Bradley Cooper. Big
Yeah, he
time.
does. Yeah, he does.
This is fucking very odd to watch. Angela Bassett is bad as hell in this movie. You got a stacked cast: Juliette Lewis, Tom Sizemore, which this was kind of like a reminder of like
How good
Tom
he used to be.
Sizemore. Yeah, Tom Sizemore used to be such a good actor, man.
Yeah, he was great, but Hollywood got to him, man.
Yeah, Michael Wincott. This was like another reminder of like he wasn't as big as he should have been. Like that dude should have just been like a fucking mega star.
I agree, man. Like he had a good he had a good run there for a
But dude,
while, and I mean, he's still in stuff, but like he's
yeah,
not. It's yeah, he didn't blow up like he should have.
no, he should be like a cultural icon. Like, there's no one like him. Like the voice and everything,
Oh
just
yeah, the voice.
and you're getting all of that in Strange Days. Vincent D'Onofrio, William Fichtner, like great cast, right? And this movie is kinetic as all hell. There's just so much shit going on, so
Yeah,
much stuff, so many moving pieces.
yeah. There's nothing quite like Strange Days. It is a unique beast of a movie that I actually love.
And I didn't realize, like, I knew going into it, you had the sci-fi aspect of people being wired up and getting recordings of like what they actually see. So it's kind of like VR, but it is like actual reality, just kind of like found footage, whatever. But then tying that with the Y2K stuff, like the new millennium and everything, it was just it's a hell of a watch, man. Such a good movie.
I think that this is what kind of messed up Catherine Bigelow's career, though. Unfortunately.
Which is wild because like I don't know. You can kind of see like the ending of this movie is dumb as shit. The stupid fucking cops shit that you can kind of see that she's gonna end up doing a lot more of.
Well, yeah, but I just feel like that this is not. I guess at the time it just doesn't seem like a very commercial movie. Like I think about general audiences and
Oh yeah,
how they would like. I feel like if this came out now and it went to streaming, like if it was a Netflix movie or Hulu or one or Prime or one of those or HBO Max, like I think it would have been a lot more successful because I think it would have been able to find its audience a lot easier. I think this is a hard movie to market, and the length too, I think is definitely a barrier for some people. I think that it's a great movie, but I think that like I can also understand why it wasn't successful.
oh yeah, definitely.
Now you could also argue like this was certainly not bad enough to completely derail her career until The Hurt Locker, in 2008. So
Yeah.
like I'm pretty sure she should have been able to keep her career afloat. But that's just what Hollywood does to women directors. You mess up once, you're done. Meanwhile, you have what's his name, the Mila Jovovich's husband, Paul W.S. Anderson, who's like makes crap after
Oh
crap
even
after crap.
well even just like the director of Until Dawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Or Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, and man, he's
I'm
making
using
more movies now. That seems like the worse that he is.
yeah. Yeah. I'll use that to transition into Fountain of Youth, which is one that came out this weekend that I saw. I don't have much to say about it, but it's just not very good. This is the like most generic ass adventure movie ever, and I feel like Guy Ritchie's just like I don't know if he's just going for a paycheck at this point. I feel like that's what it's got to be because I don't know what happened to him, man. Like I feel like his soul left his body or something
He's
because
got bills to pay.
dude made like two phenomenal movies and then just fell off so hard. But yeah, Fountain of Youth is pretty bad. Don't
Yeah,
recommend that.
it looked
Stay away from
quite
that
bad.
one. I was in the mood for just something light and fun. It was a weekend
And
afternoon.
it was kind of funny that I saw so many like trailers and stuff for that movie, and I just assumed I was like, oh, John Krasinski made himself an action movie. Like he wanted to be Indiana Jones, so he's going to direct a movie where he's like an Indiana Jones type. And then I saw it was Guy Ritchie, and it made no sense to me. It made sense as a John Krasinski movie.
Yeah,
Doesn't make sense as a Guy Ritchie movie.
I think John Krasinski could have been a good Indiana Jones at some point. I mean, I think it works for him. Like he's not
Mhm.
because he's not like a big action guy, but Indiana Jones isn't a big action guy. So
Yeah.
Like
I
I
could
think it
see
is,
him being like a teacher that goes on adventures. It's
and
like,
it's
oh yeah,
pretty much what this movie is. Excuse me. But it's just nowhere near as exciting. It's just like a boring version of, it's like a boring ripoff of Indiana Jones. It's the Asylum version of Indiana Jones. And none of it makes sense. There's like so many plot holes and logic errors, and it's ugly too. Like that. It has none of that like Guy Ritchie style that made me like absolutely love Lock, Stock, and Snatch. Like that's just,
yeah.
it's devoid of that. So yeah. Let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. Where am I at here? We got Karate Kid Legends. This is gonna blend the Karate Kid, the old Karate Kid, and then the remake one, the one with Jackie Chan. It's a
Hmm.
yeah. So there's that. And then we also have Bring Her Back, which is far more interesting to me than Karate Kid Legends.
Oh yeah,
Very
yes.
excited for Bring Her Back. I I've been trying to like kind of like, I don't really want to know plot details or anything about that movie, but I did see that first teaser,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that might be a movie that is actually scary. I'm kind of hoping that it is.
Man, I hope for your sake it is.
Yeah. I was a big fan of Talk to Me, so I'm pretty excited for this one. All right, what else we got going on here? VOD this week. For some reason, my tabs have disappeared, and I don't know why.
Hell yeah.
The random tab disappearance. We got Asian Persuasion. This is coming out on the 27th. We got Stand Your Ground. What is this? Stand Your Ground. Former Special Forces operative
Jesus.
Jack Johnson seeks revenge after his wife's murder, igniting a brutal war against a local crime lord's family.
Uh-huh.
It seems very libertarian to me. Don't tread on me. We got The Last Gunfight. Looks like John Voight is in that. He's still doing stuff. John Voight, he's still doing stuff.
Wonderful.
I mean, it looks like he's got one foot in the grave.
Oh yeah. He sure does.
I think I last saw him in Megalopolis, and boy, he was rough in that one. We got Midnight in Phoenix. We got Pretty Boy. We got The Final Play. And then on the 30th, we got The Road to Patagonia. We got The New Boy and Going Postal, which is a documentary about the video game series Postal.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, as if we needed that.
What everyone's dying to know. How'd they make that game?
Yeah. I mean, there probably is some interesting stories behind that game series and like the movie.
I hope there's not.
It's
I
just
hope
like,
it's just super dull, real
yeah.
inside baseball, just coding. Just
Like half the movie is just spent going over the source code of
it's just a
Postal.
guy pulling it up. He's like, okay, so this bit here, that's when you look to the right.
I think they get into the movie too and interview Uwe Boll and do all that. So yeah, there's that. Netflix this week, we got Lost in Starlight, which is an animated film, and then we got a Widow's Game, and we got The Heart Knows. Yeah, not a lot going on there, huh?
Not at all.
Blu-ray this week. We got Kingdom of Heaven coming out in 4K, Kingpin coming out in 4K, Dirty Work from 1998. I used to love that movie as a kid.
Dirty work. Yes.
I'm wondering if Dirty Work is a movie that holds up. I mean, I bet it's not at all, but at the same time, I don't know. Norm Macdonald, I feel like Norm Macdonald's comedy does hold up. So
I feel like it's worth a shot.
yeah, I feel like I do need to revisit Dirty Work since it's been so long since I've seen it. Wayne's World 2 coming out in 4K. We got Bottoms, which I would highly recommend. We got the Day the Earth Blew Up. We got Jade from 1995 coming out in 4K. William Friedkin. Definitely check that one out if you haven't. That is a 90s erotic thriller classic.
Okay.
We got The Golden Child coming out in 4K. Lean on Me. What is this? Looks like a box set here. House of Psychotic Women.
What?
Rarities collection. This includes
Hell yeah.
This includes Butterfly Kiss, Morgana, The Savage Eye, and The Glass Ceiling. 4 movies from Severin Films. Check that out, I guess. Bone Sickness from 2004.
Bone sickness. I just add. Oh no, this isn't what I was thinking of.
I think I am going to keep this one up on the tabs here because
shot on video horror.
Oh man,
that's you, buddy.
Yeah, but 2004 though, like that's like past the era that I'm into as far as shot on video horror. I like the 80s or early 90s shot on video. Anything that's in the 2000s, I don't really like usually. In My Skin from 2002. Let's Scare Jessica to Death from 1971. The Dark Half from 1993. Mystery Street from 1950. Got another box set here. This is Brevido Giallo, which includes Graveyard Disturbance, Until Death, The Ogre, and Dinner with a Vampire. This is being put out by Cauldron Films. I've never seen or heard of any of those movies, so cool. They're all Lamberto Bava films.
Graveyard Disturbance.
Yeah, I might have to look into some of these.
That's a great title. Oh, that looks like shit. Wow.
Wait, are they like newer?
No, Graveyard Disturbance is 1987.
Okay.
Oh man, going up against zombies and vampires.
We got The Sword and the Claw from 1975. Treasures of Soviet Animation, 1980 to 1988. This is a limited deluxe edition, so if you want to check out some classic Soviet animation,
hell yeah,
give this one a look.
Count me in.
There's only 1,250 copies of this bad boy.
Wow.
So better snatch it up quick. Going off the shelf quick. See, Rats is coming out. We talked about that several weeks ago. Got Suddenly in the Dark from 1981. Breathless from 1983. Good Maiden from 2021. There's a million. Like I could just keep going and going. This week has a ridiculous number of releases. Absolutely ridiculous. So I'm just gonna end it there.
All right.
What about Criterions?
We have 2. We have Killer Sheep from Charles Burnett, getting that 4K release, and then we have a twofer by Richard Lester. We got the Three Musketeers. Okay, so you have that movie.
Yeah,
and then
where could you go
sequel,
from there?
Yeah, add one. So you have the Four Musketeers.
4 of them. That's too many Musketeers.
Well, there's no law against it. You can have as many as you want.
They should come out with a 4 Musketeers candy bar and add an ingredient to it.
Holy shit! Why hasn't that been done before? Because let's be honest, Three Musketeers sucks. It's like one of the worst candy bars.
I disagree. I don't think it's one of the worst.
Business?
I don't think it's one of the worst. I don't mind it. I like Three Musketeers.
You know what I think? It's one of the worst.
What's that?
It's one of the worst.
I don't think so. I've had a lot of bad candy bars, Kevin. Let me tell you. I've had a lot of bad candy bars.
I would be interested. What do you think is in it? Not the worst, but just one of the worst.
One of the worst? Mounds.
Oh God, yeah. Yep, that's a good one. Oh, yeah. Almond Joy. Yeah, Almond Joy.
And I hate Almond Joys. I hate Mounds.
Almond Joys are fucking terrible. God, Mounds. Yeah, I forgot about that shit. Jesus. See, I don't even count that.
I also, did you ever have one of those Mallow cups?
Yeah, I've had Mallow cups. Yeah.
I think that those are garbage too. The marshmallow peanut butter chocolate. Ugh,
Yeah.
get out of here.
God, there are a lot of bad candy bars.
Yeah, and I mean like we're not even including like the Necco wafers or dots, like stuff that's like truly awful. Like the stuff from,
No,
way back in the day.
I am confused. Like, who the fuck is out here buying mounds?
I don't know. I always thought mounds were awful.
Just straight garbage.
Yep. All right. I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can send us your topics and questions to podcast@filmpulse.net. And if you could, consider giving us a review on your podcast platform of choice. For Kevin Rakeshaw, my name's Ad Patterson. We'll see you next week.